My name is Adriana, and I am 28 years old. The night my life changed forever was Christmas Eve. I remember that moment perfectly. The house smelled like cinnamon candles and roasted turkey. The Christmas tree lights blinked softly behind my parents, filling the room with warmth and color. Everything looked festive. Everything except their faces. They were cold and distant, like strangers rehearsing a speech. My father slid an envelope across the dining table toward me. Inside was a plane ticket. A one-way ticket. I stared at it, confused. "What is this?" I asked. My mother folded her hands together as if she had practiced the moment. Then she said the sentence that shattered my entire life. "Your real family is there. You've never been ours." At first, I laughed. I thought it had to be a terrible joke. Some strange attempt at humor before dinner. But neither of them smiled. My father leaned back in his chair and spoke calmly. "We adopted you when you were 4. Your biological relatives contacted us recently. They want you back." My heart started pounding so loudly that the Christmas music in the background seemed to disappear. "What do you mean, want me back?" I whispered. My mother avoided looking at me. "It's better for everyone if you go." The room suddenly felt smaller and colder. For 16 years, I had believed this house was my home. Every birthday cake, every scraped knee, every school play. I thought my parents had been there because they loved me. But now their faces looked like people finishing a business transaction. My father pushed another envelope toward me. Inside was a passport and a small stack of cash. "Your flight leaves tonight," he said. "Tonight?" My voice cracked. "Yes," he replied calmly. "We already packed your things." My mind refused to accept what was happening. "Why now?" I asked. "Why Christmas Eve?" My mother sighed as if I were being difficult. "Your biological aunt arranged everything quickly. It was the earliest flight available." That's when I noticed the suitcase beside the front door. One suitcase. 16 years of life reduced to a single piece of luggage. I walked over and opened it slowly. Inside were a few clothes, my passport, and some documents. No photos. No childhood memories. No keepsakes. It was as if they had already erased me. The drive to the airport felt unreal. Snow fell softly outside the car window while Christmas lights glowed across quiet neighborhoods. Families were inside their homes celebrating, laughing, opening presents. Meanwhile, I sat in the back seat like an unwanted package being returned. No one spoke during the drive. When we reached the airport, my father parked near the departure gate. He stepped out, took my suitcase from the trunk, and placed it on the curb. My mother stayed by the car, hugging her coat tighter. But she didn't hug me. "Your gate is inside," my father said flatly. I looked at them, waiting for something. An apology. Hesitation. Regret. Anything. But nothing came. Instead, my mother quietly said, "It's better this way." My father handed me the ticket. One way. Different country. Different life. "Go inside," he said. And that was it. No goodbye. No turning back. Just the sound of the airport doors sliding open as I walked inside alone. That night, I sat on a plane surrounded by strangers while the world outside the window disappeared into clouds. I gripped the suitcase handle so tightly my hands hurt. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know who was waiting for me. All I knew was that the people I had called Mom and Dad for 16 years had erased me in a single night. When the plane finally landed hours later, a woman stood near the arrivals gate holding a small sign with my name. She looked nervous when she saw me. "Adriana?" she asked softly. I nodded. Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm your Aunt Sophia," she said. "Your mother was my sister." That night she took me to a small apartment on the edge of the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm. She made soup while I sat silently at the kitchen table, trying to understand the new life I had been thrown into. Over the next few weeks, pieces of the truth slowly came out. My biological mother had died years earlier. My aunt had tried many times to contact my adoptive parents, but they had always refused, until suddenly, on Christmas Eve, they decided to send me away. For the next 12 years, I built a new life from nothing. I learned a new language. I finished school. I worked jobs nobody else wanted. Slowly, piece by piece, I became stronger and independent. The girl who arrived with one suitcase at 16 became someone completely different. I thought that painful chapter of my life was finally over. Until one afternoon, 12 years later, my phone rang. An international number flashed on the screen. I almost ignored it, but something inside me told me to answer. "Hello," I said. A calm voice replied. "Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Richter. I'm a lawyer." My stomach tightened. "I'm calling regarding your grandmother's will." Grandmother. I had never even met her. Then he said something that changed everything. "Your American parents are contesting the inheritance." For a moment, I thought I had heard him wrong. "She left you 23 million euros. The words echoed in my mind while I stared at the wall of my small office. My heart began racing. "There must be some mistake," I said slowly. "There isn't," the lawyer replied. "However, there is a complication." "What complication?" "Your American parents are contesting the inheritance." The irony hit me so hard I almost laughed. The same parents who handed me a plane ticket on Christmas Eve. The same parents who said I was never really theirs. Now suddenly, they were my parents again. "Why?" I asked quietly. "They claim that since they raised you for 16 years, they deserve a portion of the inheritance." For 12 years they had never called. Not once. No birthday messages. No apologies. Nothing. But the moment money appeared, suddenly they remembered me. "When is the hearing?" I asked. 3 weeks, the lawyer replied. "And Adriana, they are asking the court for nearly the entire inheritance." Of course they were. 3 weeks later, I found myself sitting inside a courtroom I had never imagined being in. Across the room sat the two people I hadn't seen in 12 years. My parents. They looked older now. My father's hair had turned grey. My mother looked thinner and sharper. But I recognized them instantly. They didn't look ashamed. They didn't look nervous. They looked confident. When my mother noticed me, she gave a small polite smile, as if we were distant relatives meeting at a wedding. I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just distance. The judge entered the room and the hearing began. Their lawyer stood first. "Your Honor," he said confidently, "my clients raised Adriana from the age of 4 until she was 16. They provided food, shelter, education, and emotional support. It is only fair they receive compensation for their role as her parents." Compensation. As if raising a child were financial investment. Then my lawyer stood. "Your Honor," he said calmly, "there is an important detail my colleague failed to mention." The judge looked up. "And what is that?" "That Adriana was removed from their home on Christmas Eve and sent to another country alone at the age of 16. The courtroom fell silent. She was driven to the airport with a single suitcase. My lawyer placed documents on the desk. "These are immigration records confirming the one-way ticket purchased by the defendants. They also confirm Adriana had no guardianship, no financial support, and no return plan when she arrived overseas." My father shifted in his seat. My mother's polite smile disappeared. "And finally," my lawyer continued, lifting another document, "we have the grandmother's will." He held it up. In this document, Elena Kovac clearly states Adriana is the sole heir because she was the only member of the family who was abandoned. The word echoed through the courtroom. Abandoned. The judge leaned forward. "Is this accurate?" he asked my parents. My father cleared his throat. "Well, we believed her biological family should raise her." "But you never contacted her again," the judge interrupted. Silence. No birthday calls. Silence. No financial support. More silence. The judge slowly removed his glasses. "So let me understand this," he said calmly. "You sent a 16-year-old girl to another country with a suitcase. You had no contact with her for 12 years. And now that she has inherited money, you believe you deserve it." Neither of them answered. An hour later, The judge delivered his decision. The court recognizes Adriana Kovac as the sole and rightful heir to the estate of Elena Kovac. The claim made by the defendants is dismissed. Just like that, it was over. 23 million euros. And the two people who abandoned me walked away with nothing. As people began leaving the courtroom, my mother walked toward me. For the first time in 12 years. Adriana, she said softly. I turned to face her. You could still help us, she said quietly. We are family. Family. That word used to mean everything to me. Now it meant nothing. I looked at her calmly. The night you gave me that plane ticket, I said, you told me I was never really yours. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. I picked up my bag and walked toward the exit. For once, I said over my shoulder, you were right. And I walked out of that courthouse with something far more valuable than money. Freedom.